Well, Russ, it's been quite a busy last few days for everybody at MK Dons, what with sign-ins and contract extensions. Let's start with Harry Darling on Friday night then. A defender, obviously, that you were chasing after following the departure of Richard Keogh.
Yeah, I think it's I said on Friday when he signed that it's a player. He's a player that we've watched for a long time, been monitoring for a long time, and we thought we'd probably have to wait until the summer with everything that's gone on and the situation, and there would have been a hell of a lot of competition in the summer, so it would have been quite difficult, I think, to land him. So with Richard going, obviously it left a space, and it brought a bit of finance into the club as well to help us, enable us to do that. So really pleased to get Harry and get it done so quickly. Huge support from Andy and the chairman, and Liam with. I think when you have a clear process and you know exactly what you're looking for, and me and Liam know exactly how each other works. We have a lot of conversation with Luke and Dean as well in the office. So I think all of that pays off, and with one like Harry, it really does pay off because so much work goes into it. It wasn't you succession plan. If Richard left and we weren't expecting it at all, straight away we knew the one we wanted to go for, and really lucky and really fortunate that. And grateful that we've been able to do that. And Harry is someone who, as soon as he knew of the interest from Cambridge, that he was desperate to come and make it happen, which is really important to me and really important to us. So really pleased with that signing. He's going to, it might take a little bit of time to get all the work into him and all the detail and for him to settle in, but he's going to help us this season 100%. He's a very, very good player. And he's going to help us long term as well. He's going to be a very good signing for this football club. So, and I think the players already, can see that in training that he's going to really add to our group, which is great.
Does it help that because he's been playing regular football in League Two that he can hit the ground running for you?
Yeah, I think so. That's a big plus. He's very young, but he's played a lot of football for his age, which tells you, how much potential he's got and how well he's done already in senior football. But he's used to competing, he's used to being there week in, week out, being really focused, being prepared for matches. I spoke to Wes Houghton about him, obviously, who's been playing with him. Spoke very, very highly of him as a person and a character as well as a player, which is really, really important, which makes me think he'll be ready to come in and produce for us right away.
And of course, the signing of Matt O'Reilly yesterday as well, another one who's young and appears to fit the mould that you like to be bringing in.
Yeah, he's someone we never thought we'd be able to sign in the summer when he's been training with us through mutual contacts really. So he came in just to stay fit and keep himself ticking over. He turned down a very good contract at Fulham because he felt it was time for him to go out and play, and there was a lot of interest in him early on. That interest has obviously not amounted to anything concrete for various reasons, and the amount of time he's been out now has obviously probably put a few people off, but he's trained with us the whole time. He's in a very good place physically because he's trained with us, showing a brilliant mentality and attitude, often being the first guy in and the last person to leave, and with no obligation to do that, not contracted to us at all. And then again, it's been a tough deal to do, but with the help of his agent, who's been fantastic all the way through, and with the chairman and Andrew's support again, and Andy having a lot of hours spent working out the deal with Fulham, we've finally been able to do it. So again, another one we are very fortunate to have. I think if you'd have told me in the summer that we'd have signed him eventually at some point this season, I wouldn't have believed you, and we've finally done it. So he's going to need a bit of time in terms of playing matches and getting up to speed, but he knows all of the detail, he knows what we do, he knows how we play, he knows the culture, he's bought into that. The other players can see what a good player he is, so I think it's a really, really good signing for us. Really, another one we're really pleased with.
And a contract extension for Andrew Fisher. I mean, he was on terrific form on Tuesday night and showed everybody what he's capable of.
Yeah, I think we want to reward people when they're playing well. And I spoke about it on the day that he sacrificed a lot to come here. And it was very last minute in the transfer window we were able to get that done because of his sacrifice, and he's put in enough work and produced enough good performances and shown us a lot about himself in the desire to come and play here in the first place, to warrant a new contract, and he's earned that. He's really earned that, and I'm really pleased for him, and I'm pleased that as a club we have shown the right intention to people that if you perform well, you will get rewarded here. I think he's another one that really believes in what we're doing and has really bought into it and sees himself really growing with the football club, which is what we want. If you look at I think we spoke about the group of young players last time we spoke, Toby, and that was before we signed Harry and Matt and extended Fish's contract. So we have a really talented and exciting group of young players that are hopefully going to grow with us and improve, and we have to make sure that is the case.
Given the turnover of players that you've had already this month, and there's still about a week to go in the window, does it feel like you've changed the face of the team again? It feels like it's there was the team at the start of the season, there was the team that hit form in around November time, and now it feels like there's a whole new MK Dons feel about it. Yeah,
it's gonna. Without sounding like a broken record, we might take a little bit of time again to get really into the rhythm we want to, because there is. What I would say is Matt's obviously been here a while, although he hasn't played the games yet. Harry's going to take a lot of work, and we'll probably end up doing some more business before the end of the window. So, with everything, with the way that we play, it does take a lot of detail, a lot of work in the video room, on the training pitch. So we're prepared for that. And if I'm honest, I would have probably changed more in the summer, but with COVID and everything, it restricted us a little bit. I think the beautiful thing about the players and this group of staff and everyone else is no one's afraid of change. I think everyone's really embraced it. I said to you when I first took over, I felt that we needed change. We needed to change the direction we were going in. We needed to really decide what we were going to be about, what we were going to stand for, in terms of culture, in terms of playing style, all of that stuff. And so everyone's really embraced change, and I think a lot of people have been really excited about what we can achieve, and it is another change again in this window. I get that, and with change always comes, I've spoken to you a lot as well, some difficult periods, but we're on the right path. We've got a real strategy in terms of what we're recruiting. We've got a real strategy in terms of how we want to build the club and the culture and the performance, and hopefully we're heading in the right direction, and the new people coming in will show that.
Of course, it's not just people coming in, is it? We saw George Williams leave last week. A big fan favourite, but I think it was probably in everybody's best interest, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I thanked George in front of the players after the game because we knew he was going. He's been a brilliant character for us on and off the pitch. Very, very good professional, very well liked here at the club by all of the staff, all the players, the fans, as you said. Hasn't played as much as he probably would have wanted this season for various reasons, to the injury, Warren coming in and doing so well, and obviously with the salary cap coming in, etc., an opportunity presented itself to protect his long-term future, and I couldn't guarantee George anything beyond this season at this minute in time, and we had a really honest chat about that, and really grateful for George because he really bought into what we were doing, and he's a big part of that dressing room, and people like him certainly made it easier for me when I took over. So always have a really good relationship with George, always be very grateful for what he's done, but I think you're probably right. I think the time is probably right for everyone to move on, and he can focus on going and doing exactly what he's done for this club at another club, and I'm sure he'll become a favourite there as well. But yeah, with every change, with any change, personnel is always probably a big part of that in football. So yeah, we've lost a few players along the way that people will be really disappointed to lose. But if we're going to keep progressing, keep improving, and as I said to you a lot, restructure the club in a way that is sustainable and more suitable to the times we're in financially, then unfortunately that we're going to have to lose people as well. So that's where it is, and he goes with everyone's best wishes, that's for sure.
You mentioned that you're still seeking out a few more players before the end of the window. What are you looking to be doing?
Well, we still obviously we've lost Carlton, and we signed Charlie, but it's not a like for like replacement. So I feel we're probably a little bit light at that end of the pitch, and then the rest is obviously losing George as well. At that end of the pitch, we could probably do with another body there. So we are in the hunt and in the mix for the players that we want. Spinning plates in January, it's really difficult. You have to keep on top of things and make sure we're aware of everything that's going on. but we are still in the mix for the ones that we really, really want, and we have plans for that if we don't quite get those guys. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's going into the last week now. Things do really hot up, as I've learned from previous experience in this last week, and opportunities become available that have maybe you hit brick walls with early on. So yeah, we just have to wait and see it and make sure we're ready for everything and anything, and hopefully by the end of the window we'll have strengthened in the areas that we really want to.
It's never a good month, is it, January? It's always have to wait till the very end, and I suppose you'll be getting the coffee on and leaving it till the very last minute.
I hope not, but it's down to that, we've planned and prepared, but it's down to other clubs, as I said to you before. So yeah, the likelihood is I'll probably be in there making, I think it was 67 calls or whatever it was the last January transfer window in the evening, and it might end up being the same again. I hope not. I hope we can all just sit there really happy at the work we've done and be pleased with ourselves and move forward. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, Toby, you probably hit the nail on the head, to be honest.
On the injury front, then, you mentioned that you may be having Louis Thompson and David Kasumu back for tomorrow night. What's the status with those guys?
Yeah, Louis back in the squad. David will hopefully be back on Saturday, ready to play, which will be great. But he's not going to be ready to be involved tomorrow night. So yeah, Louis back, really pleased with that, and he's come back looking really, really strong, which is fantastic for us and for him. And he makes a big difference to the group. In training, his voice, his energy, he's fantastic. He's a brilliant person. He's a real leader, real character, and really, really pleased to have him back. And David's really not far off, which is brilliant for us. So we'll hopefully go into Saturday, looking really, really strong, and get through Tuesday night well with a really positive performance and result, and then we can look forward to the next one.
And Jordan Houghton back running on grass must be a huge plus for you guys.
Yeah, he's advancing really quickly, so he hopefully won't be too long either. So yeah, it's finally looking good on that front. We've got some light at the end of that tunnel for these guys, and yeah, we'll hopefully have them all back very, very soon.
Felt like a bit of a turning point, the win at the Valley. Since then, everything's been more positive than negative, I think, and it was a huge result down there, wasn't it?
Yeah, not only that, it was probably our best performance of the season, I think. As a team, collectively, the way they played, the way they approached it, the mentality they showed. Yeah, it was really, really, really strong performance, and I feel that we've been flexible. The boys have adapted quite well to different games, different things. We've had to be more adaptable and flexible than we have in the past because of a lot of injuries as well. So I think the group has navigated their way through that brilliantly, because we haven't been at anywhere near full strength for, in terms of a squad. I'm not talking about starting 11, but in terms of you look at the bench and what we've had, and the young lads have done great. But we've been really light on numbers for the last probably 4 weeks. So to get through that in the way that they have, I've got a huge amount of pride and respect for them, for the guys, just to keep going and keep grinding it out. Guys like Ben Gladwin, who haven't played very much, had to get through 3 games, one of them being 120 minutes, and then by last Tuesday at Fleetwood he was completely hanging on the last 10 minutes, and understandably, as they all were. So yeah, it's been a positive month. It's been, I think, 3 out of 4 league games we've won. Obviously the Burnley performance was fantastic as well. So a lot to look forward to, a lot to build on, but also a lot to improve on, and a lot of stuff the guys have seen and agree with, that we can keep getting better, keep improving, keep developing, and that will only be helped by the players we brought in, and obviously the lads returning from injury as well. So yeah, there's lots to be positive about, but also lots to not get carried away with, lots to make sure we keep working hard and focusing on what we're doing.
What do you make of Charlton then? Because it looks like they've been fairly inconsistent, but there've been a lot of draws. They haven't lost an awful lot, but similarly they haven't won an awful lot since they've played you.
Yeah, I went to watch them on Saturday. Obviously the beauty of not having a game means you can go and watch. First game I've watched, I think, for a very long time, which is good. So they're a very good team. They have very good players for the level. They've obviously lacked a bit of consistency, as you said, recently, but they have a real threat. They've got a real threat going forward. They score a lot of goals. I think probably their only frustration would be they've conceded quite a few recently as well. But it really, it'll be a tough game, as it was at their place. There's no doubt about it. They've got a chance to be right up there in the league. But at the same time, we have a chance to come a lot closer to them if we win the game, and the players will be made aware of that. We can go, I think, within 6 points of them in a game in hand if we win the game. So that'd be big for us. And that's a big incentive. So we have to make sure we approach it the same way as we did the first game, respect the opposition as we always do, but ultimately try and play our game and implement our own game plan, especially at home, which we've been able to do a lot over the last year, and try and dictate what kind of game it is, as I always say. So it's the players are aware of the opposition. Obviously played them not long ago. We've done a lot of work this week on stuff that's going to be important for us, and hopefully that will pay off tomorrow night.
Now, we saw the condition of the pitch on Tuesday night against Fleetwood, not in an ideal state really, and given the snow around Milton Keynes in the last couple of days, I mean, how's the pitch holding up, and should fans be worried that tomorrow night's game might not even go ahead?
I don't think so. No, they've had the undersoil heating on, so the pitch is clear. I don't want to moan about it and use it as an excuse. It's not ideal. I think everyone's aware of that. For a number of reasons, but we've coped well with it, well enough with it recently, and that's going to have to continue. So I think with what we're trying to build, there's never anything to blame, never an excuse. We have to adapt to anything and everything, and if that includes the pitch, obviously that includes that as well. But the players haven't really let it affect them too much. They've really got on with their business. They've tried to stick to what we do, and that's great credit to them, and have to be the same, because we Peterborough pitch wasn't ideal either last week. I think there's quite a few around the country who are feeling the effects of not doing the work on it in the summer because of COVID or finance and the worries around that. And we're one of them. So it's not ideal. Everyone knows that. We can't sit here and pretend it is. But at the same time, we have to deal with it the same as any other team that comes here. So it's never going to be an excuse, and we have to prepare and be ready for whatever.
And finally, we've just spoken to Ethan Laird. He's certainly an infectious character, isn't he? He's certainly really happy as well to be at MK Dons. That sort of enthusiasm must be great to have around the squad. Yeah,
he's been really good. He's been really receptive, really positive, always smiling, very 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 powerful, very strong, very. He's got very good pedigree, and he's got that mentality as well. He wants to use this as a springboard to help him go and play at Man United, and he's aware that the only way to do that is by doing very, very well here and fully buying into what we're doing, being fully committed to our cause. And he's been great. He's shown real glimpses, and I think it's been a wake-up call for him as well, how tough it can be, how competitive it can be, how focused you have to be. So he's made a really good start, and I think he'll get better and better, and there's a lot more to come from Ethan once we get more work into him and he understands more. But he's getting there, and he's really receptive and wants to learn, which is fantastic, and it brings a lot of positivity and energy to the group, so I've been really pleased with him.